All right, welcome to this new tutorial. My name is Yemi Ogunde from 720 Degree Innovation Hub. We are looking at how to connect your Excel to SQL server so that you can get your data from your server. That is data source from SQL server. Now, if you have been looking at our data sources, you will see that when you get to data and you go to data sources, you see there are many ways of getting data into our Power Query. So this is how to get data from your SQL server into your Power Query. All right. So when we look at this from database, there is my SQL here from my SQL database. But if I click on this, what happens? There's an error, which is telling me that the connector requires one or more additional components to be installed before it can be used. So that's an issue. All right. So what do? I just need to let's go to learn more and see few of the lead or the instruction there. Import data from data sources into Power Query. So what are we looking at? You can look at this. You can import data into Excel from a wide variety of data sources, and the sections that follow show you how. All right, so this is fine. So let's look at the section. Windows operating system, Mac operating system. I'm using a Windows machine, so I'm here. Now let's look at it. We are particular about my SQL server. That's the server I want to access data from. Now, if I come around here, I'll see database, my SQL server. So let's open this and see what the instruction is about again. Now, look at what we need here. Based on that instruction, the error message we received the other time is still the same error that we are having here, that is giving us at the notes. If you didn't receive this message, that is, if you receive the message, this connector requires one or more additional component to be installed before it can be used. You need to download the appropriate ODBC driver for my SQL. Now, to your Windows device from here. So I need to go to this place, this point. Let's click on here. My SQL community download, connector ODBC. Now we're looking at the connector ODBC 9.0.0. And this is the select version 9.0.0. And my operating system is Microsoft Windows. If you are using another operating system aside Microsoft Windows, you also have the same access to get your file from here. Now, if you click on this drop down, you will see different operating system here, from Ubuntu to Debian Linux to Red Hat to Mac OS. Every operating system that you may be using is there. But we are using Windows. I'm using Windows. So let's go. I have the MSI installer. I have the zip archive and the zip archive debug binaries and test suite. I don't need zip archive. I don't need the zip archive debug. I only need the installer. So what do? I will download my installer from here. So let me download. And let's wait for it to finish the download. All right. Look at it. Took us to this point. As usual, the way we download our MySQL server setup file, you can always come down here and see no, thanks. Just start my download. So let's click on it. Now our file has been completely downloaded. Look at it. So where do we get the download? Depending on the setup of your machine. Mine, I'll get it at my download section. So let me go to download section. Download. So we are download. I have multiple files that have been downloaded. All right, that's fine. Now I'll double click to install the application. So let's install. Double click and wait for it. All right, I'll click on next. Then I will accept the terms in the license agreement. Then I'll move to next. Then I'll prefer to go for the complete. Next. Then I will install. I'll wait for it to finish the installation. then finish the installation. All right, so it has been installed, but we need to set up the system now so that it can be able to access my SQL, Excel can be able to access my SQL server. How do we do that? Right in your search bar, search for ODBC. You will see ODBC data source. I want to go for the 64 bits because my machine is a 64-bit machine. So I'll click on it, open it. Now you can see what is opened on the screen. What the next thing I should do, I'll click on add. Add. Now, if I click on add, looking at all this, you will see MySQL ODBC 9.0 Unicode driver. That's all I need. I'll click on it. Once I click on it, I'll click on finish. Then this is where I'll put all the information I'll need for the Excel to be able to connect to the server. First, the server, this data source name, let's call it my SQL data. That's fine, data. You may put description if you want, but that's not necessary. TCP IP server, we put localhost there, localhost. All right, that's fine. Then I need to build my pipe, the pipeline. The pipeline here, I have root as the user, and I'll put in my password. You put your own password as well. Fine. So I can, this is optional, the database is optional. I want to access all the databases, so I don't need to be specific here. So I'll say okay. All right. Once I have okayed it, you will see it here. Look at my SQL data. Can you see 64-bit and the driver has been installed, added. Okay, so we can say okay now. Okay. So what's the next thing? Let's go to our Excel and access this server from there. Okay, let's open our Excel. Look at it. We still have the error, but just say okay now. And let's go back to our get data. Right, now we are at get data. Click on your get data. This time around, go to from other sources. From other sources. Then click on from ODBC. Click on from ODBC. That's fine. All right. Now look at this. It's saying data source name. Now let's click on data source name. You will see MySQL data. That was the name we gave to that driver. So let's click on it. Fine. That's okay. Let's okay it. Okay. Wait for it to connect. Now we are connected. Now we are connected. It's asking for username again. I'll put in the root as the username I want to use. Then I'll put in the password. That's my password for my SQL server. Then I will connect. Let's wait for it. Voila. Can you see? I'm now right in my SQL server to access any data. These are all the databases that I have in my server. So let me go to one and pick, let me go to one of these databases and pick a data set. Let me go to classic models and let's pick employees there, open it and go to employees, click on employees. Can you see the data? Now what do? I want to put this into my Power Query. So what will I do here? I will say transform data. Transform data. So when I click on transform data, this will automatically lead me into Power Query as usual. Now I'm in Power Query. I do not want to do any cleaning or transformation to this data. I just want to access it. So let's pull it back into our Excel. Home, close and load. Let's close and load and wait for it. Wow, we have just brought the data from our MySQL server through one of the databases into our Excel. Now you can start using it. This also is the same way you're going to use it with Power BI. So let's go to Power BI and quickly access another data set from my SQL server. This is Power BI interface. So how do we get this? Let's go to this Get Data. Now click on Get Data. Double click on it, then go to Other, then go to ODBC and click on Connect as well. Then wait for it and connect again to the same MySQL data. Exactly the way we did when we were working with Excel. Now just OK. And wait for it. Now we have to put in the credentials again. Root as our username and our password, then put the password. And then this is optional, we connect. Wait for it. Now you can see we have accessed our SQL server again here. And then let's try and look at another database away from the one we looked at the other time. All right, let's look at Corner Enterprises. You can see there are 3 tables there. So let's look at store. Now you can see the store. Double click on it. Now you see when I clicked on it without double clicking or checking the text box, I was only having access without the button being opened for me. So now the button is opened. I can go into Power Query, transform data. Wow. So we are now in Power Query again. Then there's no need, we are not transforming the data. Let's close and apply. Apply, wait for it, let it load the data. Wow, the data has been loaded and is still working on it. So we have the data. How do we access the data? Go to data view. And what do we have here? We have the data. So that is how you can connect your Excel and your Power BI, worked with Power BI perfectly, to MySQL server without any ado. Thank you for watching this. I want you to keep on getting better and watch more of our video. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and click on your notification. I'll see you another time. Thank you.